Hello and welcome back to the channel. Previously I've made a few videos when I've taken my MX5 down to Wakefield Park, and I thought today I would do another one, except this time I'm going to Wakefield Park virtually. So I thought I would load Assetto Corsa, bring up the MX5 ND, cut some laps around there and see how similar it is compared to real life. Also, I thought I'd take you guys around Wakefield Park, show you the layout. Maybe you've heard of Wakefield but you've never been there, maybe you've got a track day coming up, or perhaps you've been around there many times and you just want to see what it's like, how it is represented in game. So firstly, what and where is Wakefield Park? Well, Wakefield Park is a 2.2 kilometre long circuit. It has 11 turns, although some declare it only has 10. It's situated in Goulburn, which is about 2 hours south of Sydney, and Goulburn has a maximum security jail, a gun shop, our police academy, and Wakefield Park. That's pretty much Goulburn summed up for you. So you're welcome. Please tip your driver as you get off the tour bus. Alright, so as you can see, we are now in the pit in our MX5. It's not an RF, but nothing's perfect. Straight away, the first thing that I reckon is pretty awesome are the advertising boardings here. They're very, very well modelled actually. The Autotech one there. I think there's a Tune House one just here as well. And the Corsa. Oh. Yeah, that's pretty cool. All right. And you've got the timing window just here on the left. So let's go for a little drive around the circuit first, and we'll just call out some of the corners and then we will do our laps. Now, I will apologise straight away if the noise from the wheel is really loud. The force feedback here in Assetto Corsa is pretty aggressive. Okay, so this is actually turn 2. So you come out of the pit, you're now in turn 2, and as you roll off the brakes, we'll get to that as we come back around. You roll off the brakes, I tend to end up really tight in the middle of the track, and you notice the amount of apron that's actually available to you on the left. So as you get warmed up, you learn to use more and more of that, and I think the fast guys really do smash that ripple strip. I don't really tend to go that fast, so I don't. As you come out of turn 2, you're coming up the hill here, and this is one thing that Assetto Corsa doesn't show you, is just the sheer elevation. I mean, it's not a mountain, but it's still pretty decent. In real life, you'll back off the throttle, and actually I'll just stop here. You'll back off the throttle to get yourself around this corner. Now, this ripple strip here, I've been told that if you actually really attack it and hit it hard, send yourself up on 2 wheels, it helps keep the car nice and tight. Because I go there on my daily drive, I don't really feel like abusing the car like that. And even when I had the chance to drive SB Auto's NC track car, I just didn't think it was that respectful to belt their car like that, so I didn't. But anyway, if you're looking for ultimate lap times, allegedly that's a pretty good strategy. As you come out of that corner, this is a really fun complex. You can either treat it, I guess, as 2 separate corners, or try and treat it as one long corner with 2 apexes. You sort of back off the throttle, and gravity here is helping you because the road's on camber, gravity's on your side, you have a nice big apron here. And as you crest this hill, which you can even see in game, you kind of back off the throttle and it helps the car just rotate naturally. And this was a moment, or big code brown moment, I should say, for me on my first track day, because I came around here thinking I know what I was doing and lifted off, kind of panicked a bit, touched the brakes, and thankfully traction control was on, otherwise I was going straight on into the grass. Once you do get it right though, you just dance the car around. It's a really beautiful part of the circuit, and as I say, you let the suspension hunker down, the car really bites into the road, and now you send yourself off through this section. Use the ripple strips on the left if you want. As you get more confident, this is flat out in an MX5. I do end up changing into 4th, but it's pinned straight back, full throttle. Getting yourself nice and straight as quickly as you can and aiming the car in this direction, which if you're doing a track school track day, there would be a cone to indicate the entry point for this corner, which is called the fish hook. So you want to get the car pointed nice and straight, you want to get on the brakes nice and hard, get all your braking done, and then you come through the fish hook here, which is an absolute bastard of a corner. The standard suspension in my MX5 means that I'm basically sitting on the door cards. It's not overly pleasant, but and I actually don't even know if I've ever got through that corner perfectly fine. It's one where everyone seems to have their own idea of how to tackle it. Once you're out of the fish hook, you manage your throttle, and this is yet again one of those places where you full throttle, you do a slight lift, the MX5 just rotates around beautifully. Once again, the suspension on the outside of the car bites into the tarmac, and then bang, you full throttle for the final corner. You come down here, past the 100 board, brake as deep as you can, as bravely as you can. I tend to attack this in third gear in person, but today in this I'll attack it in second because I really don't care if I over rev the crap out of this car. Just hit escape and reload it, whereas obviously I don't want to do that on my car. Then you come down the main straight here, you've got the big concrete wall to your left. That's where the pits are, that's where all your mates will be cheering you on and telling you that, you know, you're setting record lap times if they're good friends. No one's ever told me that. And then you come to what is known as turn one, or the kink. Now, I think some people don't really call this a corner, but believe you me, you're flying down here. In an MX5, you're doing about 160 k's an hour, or at least that's what I've been doing. And at the start of a track day, it really doesn't feel like you can take it flat out, but eventually you get braver, you get more confident, and you learn that you can indeed take it flat out at 160 k's an hour, no problem. Once you go through the kink, it's then a matter of taking out any steering lock you may have, getting the car pointed straight, and it's actually going to be pointing straight over into the grass here. Get on the brakes as hard as you can, shift down into third or second, whichever one you want, and then rolling off the brakes, winding in some steering, and going around turn two to begin another lap. So in person, or real life I should say, my best in my car is a 117.4. We'll cut some laps here and just see if I can get anywhere near that. Obviously I'm going to be a lot more brave than I would be in my car because I don't care what happens here. I've loaded the street tyre model. Yeah, see, it sounds like a machine gun, so I apologise if that's annoying. I've loaded the street tyre model for the MX5 here in Assetto Corsa because standard it's on semi-slicks, which feels a little bit unfair. So there you go, a little bit of compression loss, my bad. This is boding well, isn't it? But we'll just pretend this is still the warm-up, and as we come around onto the front straight, we'll hit it for real and do a couple of laps. This is such a fun track. It does reward momentum more than horsepower. So even if you have a higher horsepower car but you have low skill set, you're not going to set that great of a lap time. You're certainly going to be beaten by someone who has low horsepower but high skill. Unfortunately, I have low horsepower and low skill, but that's neither here nor there. So attacking the kink now around 160, so that's pretty similar. Nice and straight, feel the car wiggle. I'll go down into third, roll off the brakes, roll on the throttle. That wasn't that tidy. And now we go up the hill, grab fourth for a brief moment, off the throttle, let it rotate into third, and now this is basically all off the brake. This is just letting gravity slow you down where you need to. Letting the car dance around on full throttle now, so we're absolutely pinned. Grab fourth, back to full throttle, a little bit wide, that's okay. Now get on the brakes, nice and straight. Down into second, get her into the fish hook. Manage your throttle because even an MX5 will go sideways through there if you're sloppy. A slight lift to get the nose to bite in. There's the ripple strip. You feel like you're going to run wide, but it's all good. Hard on the brakes again. Bring around. And as you can see, it's actually quite a safe circuit. Granted, if you really get it wrong on that last corner, there's a concrete wall there, which isn't going to be too much fun. But the rest of the track is pretty open, there's a lot of runoff. You can get yourself into trouble at the top here, I'll show you. You can, if you don't respect the track, as you come through this section and you lift off, if you're a bit too aggressive here, you can have a big off and go through the infield. Ask me how I know that. But apart from that, you can see that there's lots of runoff, lots of grass. So, you know, if you've thought about going to Wakefield but you're not sure, you feel that maybe track driving is just that bit too risky, the track itself really isn't that bad. It's just going to be up to you realising your limit, taking it easy, and not being a goose. Really is about it. But as you can see, it's a tighter course. Not to say that high horsepower cars aren't faster, of course they are. But you're not as outgunned as you might think. You're certainly not going to be as outgunned compared to things like Eastern Creek or Sydney Motorsport Park, however you want to call it. But yeah, hell of a lot of fun driving around here. It does get really cold in winter, I'll tell you that. But that means that it's good lap times, so. It's just a shame, obviously, that because it's a game, you don't get the sensation of gravity, because it is just so nice through here as you crest the hill and come back down. That ripple strip just on the right there, you do need to be careful. You don't want to stick two tyres on that, because things tend to get pretty slidey pretty quick as I over-rev the car slightly, but it doesn't bother me, because it's not real, it's not my car. So far, not an awful lap time. Some people go wide and kick a little bit of dust, just like that, bit of fun. 1:17.4 is my best in real life, 1:13.4, so either that means I really am being an absolute sook in real life, or perhaps the modelling isn't quite perfect in game. I'm going to pretend it's in game that's the issue, and it's definitely not me being a sook. Well, that's gone wide. That's okay, we can make up for it. Letting the car rotate on its own, getting on the throttle. We'll use all the ripple strip here. Just attack it, why not? There's another bit of over rev for you. Get on the throttle nice and early. And here just lift off slightly, get the nose in, back on the throttle. It's a bit sloppy through there. But yeah, so that's Wakefield Park. As I said, I've done a few videos where I've taken my car around. I'll put a link to those at the end if you want to go and check it out. Apart from that, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Leave a comment down below, tell me if you've been to Wakefield Park, what car you've got. If you've got an MX5, what lap time did you do? If you want to see more cars go around Wakefield Park here in Assetto Corsa, feel free to let me know. And as always, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next video.